friends, welcome back to Simply Home and Harvest. Today is a big day around here. You saw in the last video, if you watched that one, that we started a project. We started building a chicken coop, and today we're gonna go pick up our baby chicks and we'll take you along for that. We've got a little bit of a road trip to take to get there. But first, I'm gonna go ahead and get some pizza dough started for homemade pizzas tonight when we get back to town. So we're gonna go ahead and get that going, and I hope you'll stick around. Okay, so today we're making a sourdough pizza crust, and I have made a few of the pizza crust, like homemade pizza crust recipes using my sourdough, and this one seems to be everyone's favorite. So I have made this for the last maybe 4 or 5 times that I've made homemade pizza, and I have people begging for me to make it again. So that's a good sign when you can get your family on board. But we are going to use our sourdough starter, and I haven't fed it today. So we're gonna stir it up because it's kind of got that liquidiness to it. I don't know if you can see that liquidiness. I just make up words around here, I guess. So we'll get that stirred in, and then we're going to add 1 cup of this. And you can see once you stir it up, that gets it, once you stir it up, it starts to bubble. I don't know if you can see that or not. Hopefully you can. All right, so we're gonna add 1 cup of our starter to our mixing bowl over here. About 1 cup. It's not as thick as I normally like my starter to be, but it will do. And then to that, we want to add in 2½ cups of flour. And I'm using the unbleached all-purpose flour today, the same flour that I use for my sourdough bread. So I'm going to get that added. To that, I'm going to add 1/2 cup of warm water. Y'all see it's got a chicken on it? It's like it's a sign, isn't it? Then we're going to add some salt. About a teaspoon of salt. Give a little bit more. And then now we're gonna add 1/2 teaspoon of yeast. And then I'm gonna add a little bit of garlic herb seasoning. I did this last time and it really did add something to the dough. Just gave it a nice little flavor. Okay, so we got all our ingredients there. All right, ready to get that into our mixer. Gonna get that going here. Add our dough hook. And we're gonna mix this, and we'll do that for about 7 minutes. We'll just check the consistency of it. But I think that's probably a good speed for it right there. While that's going, I'm gonna go ahead and feed our starter. So we're gonna do our about 1 cup of flour. And then just eyeball it. Gonna do about 1/2 cup of water to this. And we'll just see if that's the consistency that we want. All right, you can see that our dough is starting to wrap around the hook. So it is almost ready to go ahead and pull off of the mixer. Better look at it right there. When it starts to clean the sides of the bowl and wrap around the hook, you know that you're getting close to being able to pull that off and let it rest. All right, we've got our starter fed. We're gonna go ahead and get a lid on that, set it to the side for another project, and we will get our dough off the hook. All right, you'll see that that looks really good. I'm very pleased with the consistency of that. What we're gonna do is we're gonna let it hang out for a little while, at least a couple of hours, 2 to 4 hours, in our greased bread bowl. And if you stick around for my bread making recipes, bread making videos, you're gonna see this bowl a lot. I love my bread bowl. That's what I call it. I guess you could use this for a lot of different things, but I love using it to make bread in and to cover and let it rise. It just seems to work out really well. So we're gonna let that hang out in there. We're gonna cover it with a tea towel and we'll come back later. All right, I'm gonna get that covered with a tea towel. We're gonna let that hang out while we take a trip and pick up some chickens. All right, so we're on the way to pick up our chicks. Who's excited?
I haven't picked up chicks since I was 18. Or how long we been married? 16.
I was, getting a little worried about that one. Well, that's good to know. So yes, we are taking a little bit of a road trip. The place we're actually going to get them at Rural King. And it's about 45 minutes away from us. So Tim said, this is our last time leaving the house as a family of 4. We're gonna come back. We'll be a dozen, right? Yeah. We get
30 dozen.
We get 8. So we're here, trying to figure out what we're getting. Oh, so many choices. I think we know what breed we want. We just got to figure. Oh, there's okay. I can't see those, but those are the ones we were thinking of. There we go.
Yeah, they're in the box together.
This is scary. I don't like this. I feel like I'm supposed to jump out and bite.
Jump out like you're a chick.
Oh, this is gonna
Can I
be
tap them on the
fun.
head?
Yeah, but why don't we wait and do that when we get home? I don't want the
They're
box to
they're
tumble
all stuck
over.
up in there.
Oh. Hey, little chicky chicks. You ready to go to your new home? Well, here they are. Our 8 little ladies. They made it home. They're having their first meal. They're being a little impatient. Because
Rhode Island
someone's gonna
Red,
ask us. Yeah, Rhode Island Red.
Black Australorp, Barred Rock, and Buff Orpington are the gold ones.
Okay, there you go. I knew someone would probably ask that, and I want to make sure we got it right.
I think the one with the little yellow or white on his head, that's the
Barred Rock.
yeah, that's the
Yeah.
Barred Rock. And
You
then
can
the,
see it in his feathers. See the
Yeah,
white stripes in his
yeah.
feathers?
and the little thing on his head. You can definitely tell which one's the red.
So we're letting them hang outside right now for just a few minutes, and then we'll move them inside when we get our heat set up in there. But so far, Alex has been a great caretaker, and as he was carrying the box with the chicks, okay, no, he doesn't like as he was carrying the box with the chicks up to the deck, there was a black snake right on the edge of the deck, and he so calmly said, "Oh my goodness, there's a snake," and just stood there
I'm not really scared of
patiently, patiently with the chicks, holding them, without dropping them, and
I knew it was a
let
black
the
snake.
snake go on.
Well, I knew it was a
So
black snake, so it probably wasn't gonna do much.
yeah, it was a black snake. We don't like them too close to the house though. So it's under the deck right now. Well, we think. We know that's where it went. All right, we're getting the chicks all settled in, but I'm gonna run back out and pick up a brooder heating plate. I think that's what it's called. Instead of using the heat lamp, we were gonna use the heat lamp, but Tim's been very nervous about using that just because you're not supposed to leave it unattended. There are some risks, you know, having the heat lamp versus this heating plate, which is supposed to keep the brooder warm and be safer to use. So I'm gonna run back out and pick that up, and then we'll come back and get this pizza underway. Okay, we are back and we're gonna go ahead and get our dough on our pans. The first thing we wanna do is to coat each pan with a little bit of olive oil. There we go. I'm just gonna rub that on there. My hands are clean. I find this is the quickest way when you have people waiting that are hungry. I'll go ahead and get my dough divided here. And I let it set. It was actually sitting in the windowsill while we were gone, and it really baked it a little bit. You know how a couple of videos back I made the comment that I don't like to heat my oven up in the summer because it's so hot outside and then I get the inside hot? Well, today would have been one of those days to not heat your oven up. When we ran out to pick up that brooding or the heat plate, my thermometer in the van said that it was 101. So I would say that's a little too warm if you're concerned about heating your house up with your oven on. But anyway, we already started this process and we're gonna go with it. We'll just pray that the air condition keeps up. All right, so the next step is to just let them rest on the pan for 15 minutes and to cover them. So we're gonna do that, and we'll get all our cheese shredded and our toppings ready while we wait. So I decided to go ahead and switch to a voiceover for a portion of this video because we had so much going on in the background with getting our little chicks settled into their new home, and I just thought it would be easier this way. But as you can see, I went ahead and got our pizza dough rolled out, and it's pretty funny, the roller that I'm using to roll out the pizza dough. It is a Pampered Chef tool, but the end of it has been broken for many years. So I guess if I'm going to continue to do these videos where I cook, I'm going to have to upgrade my kitchen tools because it's rather embarrassing that I'm still using this little roller. I mean, it gets the job done, don't get me wrong, but it has been broken for years. So I guess I'll have to try to find a replacement for it. But we went ahead and I went ahead and got all of the pizza dough rolled out into the pan, and then I'm going to let this also sit for 15 minutes and just let that expand and rise in the pan, and then we'll come back to it and get our sauce on it and then get it in the oven. But first I'm going to put an edge on it just to give it a crust, and that will also hold our sauce in place. Our pizzas have been sitting for 15 minutes, so it's time to start putting our toppings on. The first thing we're going to start out with is a jar of pizza sauce. This is actually pizza sauce that I canned last year from last year's tomatoes, and we are getting near the end of our supply. So I really can't wait until my tomatoes are ready to harvest and I can go ahead and make more of that pizza sauce, because that is probably what we use the most. I've canned spaghetti sauce and I've canned salsa, which we do use our salsa quite often. And I think I've also canned chili base with tomatoes, but we go through our pizza sauce more than anything else. So I will be making that soon, and I will share that process with you in a future video. The good thing about that pint-sized jar is that it is enough for 2 pizzas in our house. preheated our oven to 450 degrees, and we're going to go ahead and add our pizzas in for about 5 minutes and just get those to crisp up a little bit. You can go ahead and add your toppings in before you add the pizzas, but I just choose not to at this point. While our pizzas are pre-baking there for 5 minutes, we're going to go ahead and get some of our toppings chopped up. We've already shredded about 2 cups of mozzarella cheese, and now I'm prepping an onion and a green pepper, both from our garden, so that's really cool. I'm going to go ahead and get those cut up, and we'll just set them to the side. I'm the only one in our family that really likes the peppers and onions on pizza, so I'll probably only use part of these. As you see right there, I'm dividing them up so that I can just use the other cut up peppers and onions for something else during the week. When I watch these back, I always think it's so cool that I can speed the video up just for the sake of time, but it sure would be nice if I could do this in real life. It would make fixing dinner for my family a whole lot easier, but I guess we just have to be patient. Right now I just put on the Parmesan cheese. We like to add Parmesan cheese to the top over the sauce, and then I'm adding pepperoni here, but you can add whatever toppings you like: sausage, bacon, ham. The sky's the limit there. But our family, well, all but me, I can pretty much eat anything on a pizza, but my kids and my husband, they really do prefer pepperoni. So I stick to the pepperoni most of the time. So I'm going to go ahead and add those. I have in the past, I will have to pop up some pictures at the end of some sourdough pizzas that we made a couple weeks ago. And one of them was a barbecue chicken pizza, and I used some tomato from the garden and some basil from the garden. And I used the barbecue sauce for the actual pizza sauce and some Parmesan cheese, some shredded Parmesan cheese. Oh my goodness, it was absolutely delicious. Oh, and the chicken I used was a rotisserie chicken that I just picked up at Sam's Club. It was perfect. So I'll add a picture of that here. That's not what we had on this night. If you want ideas of how to maybe just like change up your pizza making a little bit, that is one I highly recommend. So I'm going to go ahead and get the peppers and onions added to my side. And the way you top your pizza is pretty much your preference. Sometimes I'll put the cheese on top and then I'll add the toppings, and that does actually make for a prettier picture in the end. But on this night, I decided that I would add the toppings first and then cover it with cheese. And this is very reminiscent to a place that we have here locally. So for any locals out there that watch these videos, if you're local to our area or the Milton, North Carolina area, you'll probably know the name Aunt Millie's. We have a pizza place near us. Well, it's a little bit of a ways from us, but we like to go there on special occasions mainly. They have the best pizza, and this is how they do their pizza. They add their toppings first, and then they cover it with cheese, and then they bake it. So I decided to do that, and I just thought, well, we'll try it out and see how it works. And my family absolutely loved it. They said, please do it from now on, because not only did it remind them of Aunt Millie's, but also it holds the toppings on your pizza. That is definitely a bonus. We're going to go ahead and get our pizzas back into the oven and bake for another 7 minutes. If they're a little bit thicker, if the crust is thicker, you can bake them up to maybe 10 more minutes. Heating plate that we decided to go with instead of a heat lamp. Thought it would be a little bit of a safer choice. They have their food and their water set up over here, but they are all huddled underneath. Let's see. Oh, okay, there's one on the side there, and Alex is okay. Alex has already given one of them. There's 2 of them. He's given one of them a name. So.
Everybody's fast asleep.
All right, well, I was gonna do an outro myself, but I just thought you'd rather see these sweet little ladies and let them say goodbye to you, so tell the people. Hope you'll consider subscribing if you haven't already, and give this video a thumbs up if you'd like to see more of our cuteness. Look at this little cutie.
He's nesting
He's just
underneath.
like sitting on top of him. Oh my
It's
goodness.
the mama bird.
That's so cute. Always remember to live simply, use what you have, and enjoy the moments you've been given. See you in the next one. Bye, friends.